Yo, what's crackin' Gamer Nation? You know who it be? The legend, the one and only, and yours truly, John the Gamer 64. What happens when you mix elements from Super Mario Odyssey with the Kirby series? You get Kirby and the Forgotten Land, one of my favorite console exclusive games on Nintendo Switch. One of the coolest features about Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the ability to upgrade Kirby's copy abilities. To upgrade these abilities, the player needs to find the blueprints hidden throughout the game. Once fully upgraded, you get some of the sweetest looking copy abilities aesthetics this side of Popstar. They're also a blast to use. Which brings us to today's video. Today we check out my list of top 10 copy ability evolutions in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Here are a few ground rules for my list. Number 1 has to be fully upgraded copy abilities. No lower level copy abilities apply here. Second rule of Fight Club is nothing is power based. This is not a tier list, so this isn't about what's the most powerful copy ability. This is just more of which one do I like to use the most, like just for fun. Which ability that I find the most fun to use. Third rule being no mouthful mode abilities. So unfortunately, those do not make the cut on this list because they're not actual copy abilities. And lastly, this list is not in any particular order. So just merely the 10 copy ability evolutions that I love using just for fun. With that being said, let's kick it off with number 10. Number 10, Masked Hammer. The Masked Hammer sounds like the name of a wrestler. In that case, they should have called it the Masked Ham. And his signature move would be the Flaming Tornado. This fully upgraded copy ability gives you dual hammers. Double the pleasure, double the fun. With 2 hammers, you can now create Flaming Tornadoes by fully charging an attack or while in mid-air and ground pounding the floor. It's definitely great at crowd control, which makes this such a fun weapon to use. The pig mask has a cool tribal look to it, which I dig. Just call him the Hog of War. Number 9, Time Crash. Have you ever wanted a copy ability that made you feel like you could take over the world? Well, with Time Crash, you can feel like Dio or Jotaro freezing time. The charging animation of rocks lifting from the ground, electricity flickering, and Kirby's aura emanating made you feel like a Super Saiyan. The time freezing portion is rather unique in that as long as you touch enemies and obstacles in your way, you can keep this ability going, giving it a sense of challenge to see how long it can last. I think that's what makes the Time Crash such a blast to use. The sepia tone filter during the time stop was a nice dramatic touch. Only downside is it's a single use item. Aesthetically, I love the fusion of a 10-gallon cowboy hat with an hourglass. It looks so dope. Number 8, Twin Drills. The Twin Drills are another amazing 2-for-1 special copy ability. What makes this evolution so special from previous iterations is that now you can attack while burrowing underground. The new gear is like a shark fin that can kill you. Anything caught in it will become dead meat. Lastly, you can create devastating earthquakes. Combining the 2 attacks puts your enemies in a world of pain. You'll have them quaking in their boots. Number 7, Crystal Needle. The Crystal Needle is truly a sight to behold. What with its shiny, beautiful, and colorful crystals. But don't let that fool you. Every rose has its thorns. Along with impaling everyone and everything in your path, you can now launch crystal spike balls at your enemies, as well as leaving a spiky trail of despair. What I love about this copy ability is that it feels like you're playing Katamari Damacy on PS2. There's nothing like building a ball of destruction and using it against your enemies. Number 6, Space Ranger. I have a bit of a confession to make. The previous iterations of the Ranger copy abilities didn't really cut it for me. Not because they were bad necessarily, they just weren't that exciting to use until now. Once you upgraded it to its final evolution, Space Ranger, that's when this copy ability truly shines. First off, the whole 1950s sci-fi spaceman theme is out of this world. No pun intended. The laser gun and the space helmet with the heads-up display really sells it. Other than the aesthetics, the best part about the Space Ranger are in its capabilities. It feels reminiscent of Mega Man's Buster Cannon. The charged shots are just so satisfying to pull off. But the coup de grace definitely has to be the fully charged shot that unleashes a hellish electrical force field of doom. Lastly, the jumping attack unleashes a volley of electrical balls of energy that kind of reminds me of Piccolo's Hell Zone grenade. Anything DBZ related, I approve. Number 5. Homing bombs. Explosive weapons are always a plus in my book, and the homing bombs are no exception. The chain bombing mechanic was already a fun way of creating bigger explosions, causing massive damage to your enemies. They kicked it up a notch by making your bombs mobile with homing capabilities. These mechanics go well like peanut butter and jelly, and that's why it's such a joy to use. Number 4. Storm Tornado. Every version of the Tornado copy ability was so gratifying to use. All your enemies getting sucked into your funnel until their heads collide and they die. Just kidding. So, how do you make a tornado more powerful? By adding a thunderstorm to the mix? The results are quite shocking. No pun intended. On top of your enemies being tossed around like ragdolls, they now get shocked by lightning, incurring maximum damage. Charging the attack unleashes a burst of electricity that would make even the most jaded Sith Lord blush. Lastly, your tornado can now leave a trail of storm clouds that incur additional electrical damage. The best part about it is the ability to juggle your enemies back into your funnel of death to continue your onslaught. Storm Tornado is such a great ability to use. Number 3. Dragon Fire. Let's start off with the design of Dragon Fire. It looks like Spyro the Dragon's claw grabbing onto Kirby's head. This look is lit, literally and figuratively. The purple flames remind me of Iori Yagami's fire from King of Fighters. Another reason to love it. The updated attacks include the jumping attack that morphs into a flame dragon. The other is a steady stream of fire that has wider range and increased burn damage. Integrating both attacks will leave your enemies with a little more than a 3rd degree burn. Even the bosses fear the Dragon Fire. Definitely one hell of a copy ability. Number 2. Blizzard Ice. The Ice copy ability has been a staple in the Kirby series since the very first game. What can I say? I'm a sucker for ice powers and weaponry in video games, but I digress. Blizzard Ice's updates include the Ice Breath being turned into deadly icicles that can create additional icicles used to slay your enemies. Freezing enemies is even deadlier in that even after you freeze them, they can take increased frost damage. You can even turn bosses into popsicles. It's crazy. What's even crazier is the indestructible ice shield. Not only can it not be destroyed, but it can also damage anybody who comes near it. These upgrades alone make this one of the best copy ability evolutions in the game. Also, Kirby is one of the best ice skaters I've ever seen in my life. Number 1. Morpho Knight. It's Morpho time! So, before this game, I had no idea who Morpho Knight even was. This was my first time seeing him in this game. The whole mysterious crimson butterfly motif was pretty badass. He was quite the formidable foe in battle. As the highly evolved copy ability, Morpho Knight is very powerful. New additions to the moveset include a charge attack with the giant sword that unleashes 2 flaming tornadoes that deals high damage. Even after the attack is completed, you can still use the giant sword for a short period of time to deal a devastating amount of damage. The Morpho Knight's offense is no joke. The second charge attack summons 2 spirits of Fecto Forgo, which homes in on enemies, burning them alive. It does a decent amount of damage, but nothing special. Same goes for the other attacks. They're not really worth mentioning. Defensively, Morpho Knight has an amazing teleport move where he takes the form of fiery ash. It just looks so cool. I feel like they did my boy Meta Knight dirty by not giving him a teleport move with his cape, but I digress. This concludes my list of top 10 copy ability evolutions in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I thank you all for watching, and peace out.